Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Thursday the 28th of March 2024. In today's Millwall news, we start off with this. Huge weekend. Yeah, it's we got a game tomorrow on Good Friday. We got a game on Easter Monday. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, the South London Press's online website. Millwall boss Harris sees Easter fixtures as avenue to widen gap on Championship relegation zone. Neil Harris has described Mill's Easter fixtures as huge as the South London club look to pull further clear of Championship relegation danger. The Lions are 4 points above the bottom three and face West Bromwich Albion tomorrow at the Den before heading to Rotherham, rock bottom of the standings, on Monday. Harris had taken 10 points from a possible 12 after returning to Millwall as manager, but tasted defeat for the first time in a 2-0 reverse at Leeds, the last action before the international break. It's always a pivotal period in the fixture calendar, Christmas and Easter, Harris told the South London Press. There are 8 games left, and it's stainingly obvious that a quarter of the games disappear in a 4-day period. It's a huge weekend. We've earned the right to get ourselves in a healthier position in the league standings and points total, but we know there's a lot of work to go still. I see this weekend as an avenue for us to try and add to our total and widen that gap between us and the teams below. But the games are never easy. The West Brom will bring a real challenge and a quality opponent. And Rotherham, away from home, are a team that are scrapping and fighting not to be relegated yet. And they're 2 very different games in their own right, but we usually look forward to both. It seems like it's been ages since we've been in the Den, since we could create, we could celebrate that last-minute winner against Birmingham. I've been back nearly 5 weeks at the weekend, and I've only played 2 home games. Very unfortunate that fixtures fall with more away games than home games for me. I think it's 8 away and 5 home from my tenure. I love playing at the Den and being in a home environment, but I knew that when I took over, we certainly have to make sure that we make the most of our home performances. Millwall are hunting a 3rd straight Den win, with Harris presiding over 1-0 victories against Watford and Birmingham City. The league position and a run of form we found ourselves in when I came back on February the 22nd, we know home and away form was going to be vitally important, said Harris. Winning at Southampton was a huge bonus and gave us our first away victory under me, but we knew, just as importantly, if not more so, that home win against Watford was probably a bigger benchmark because we hadn't won at the Den for such a long time. The football club and fan base craves home success. 6 points from 2 home games in isolation is a fantastic achievement. We want to add to that total. We want to get back to winning ways, but also the team being really disciplined, aggressive, and tough to play against. And if we are that, and we keep adding a little moments of quality to our game, then we're a handful for any opponent. And our game plan is not going to change with that between now and the end of the season. Interesting little line there. Our game plan is not going to change with that between now and the end of the season. So all the moaners, we're not passing the ball enough. Oh, it's too boring. Ooh. What are the results? And to be fair, a lot of fans are going, look, we know the football's not the best, but we need the results. So, and a lot of them saying, look, until the end of the season, and then once we're safe, and then we'll think about it. And that means they're going to tolerate this until we're safe or until the end of the season. And then they're probably going to sharpen their knives and say, thank you, Neil Harris, can you leave? And can we go back to playing sexy football that we've never played in our history? But, hey, it is what it is, isn't it? Now, moving on to this, also from Neil Harris. But this is from the southernnews.co.uk. Up there with the best players that I've managed. Neil Harris looks forward to return of former Millwall star. Harris brought Jed Wallace to the Den in 2017, and the winger would have a big impact over 5 years at the Den. Neil Harris has hailed exceptional former Millwall star Jed Wallace as the winger prepares for his 2nd return to the Den. Wallace enjoyed an outstanding 5 years with the Lions after being brought to the club by Harris in 2017. The two will now face off on Good Friday as Wallace looks to keep his new side, West Bromwich Albion, pushing for promotion. It will be Wallace's 2nd return to the Den after he assisted John Swift's goal during West Brom's 2-1 defeat to Millwall in October 2022. Wallace turned 30 earlier this week and Harris said of the West Brom captain, I thought he was exceptional for this football club. Fans are always the best people to ask for their opinions on the players. But putting sentiment aside, I think 100% of fans would have been Jed Wallace fans when he had a Millwall shirt on. For me personally, he was a terrific character, an excellent professional, a real good leader of men, one of the best and most consistent Championship players with attacking output over the last 7 years. A player that, in my opinion, has been destined to play in the Premier League for the last 10 years. And at the moment, he's flourishing as captain in that very talented West Brom side that are trying to get back into the Premier League. I'll look forward to seeing Jed. I've been fortunate to work with some really good players at different levels, and pound for pound, he has to be up there with the best players that I've managed. Wallace played 260 times for Millwall, scoring 42 goals and registering 49 assists. Lions fans will remember him as a flying winger who could cause fullbacks all sorts of problems, but in recent months at West Brom, his role has been changing. Then that links to a story, I think. But I don't know, because I didn't read that. What was that? Yeah, I think I see they had a game on a TV, I think, and I flicked into a little bit of it, and he was playing up front, which was weird. Yeah, he got a bit of stick after that game, didn't he? Because he did celebrate that goal, even though he didn't score it. Like, he was celebrating. A lot of fans got a bit moody over that. But then, obviously, in the summer, with the sad death of John Belson and Jed Wallace, was like, I think he drove down the next day to leave some flowers outside and stuff. So, that is very much seen and appreciated by the fans. Now moving on to this from the South London Press. Millwall defender Jake Cooper gives his verdict on booking at Leeds and reveals chopper ultimatum. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. We got a few. So we had just first two stories I brought you about Neil Harris, and the next three I think about players, because obviously on Friday the South London Press gets published, and on Thursday the Southern News gets published. They have interviews with the players, so we bring them to you now. Mill defender Jake Cooper gives his verdict on booking at Leeds and reveals chopper ultimatum. Jake Cooper has revealed that Mill manager Neil Harris warned him that he would have been subbed off if he conceded one more foul in a 2-0 defeat at Leeds United. Centre-back Cooper was booked early on for tangling with Willie. You don't want to tangle with Willie. There was also big home games for a penalty. Big home claims for a penalty. For the former Reading defender's challenge on Joe Rodon inside the box, inside the opening 45 minutes, as well as Jorginho Rutter going down after being caught by his trailing arm. Sky Sports were televising the championship match with their punditry team, expecting Cooper not to make way at the end. But Cooper lasted the distance. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Sky Sports were televising the championship match with their punditry team expecting Cooper not to make way. No, I think shouldn't that be expecting Cooper to make way at the interval, as in get him subbed off before he gets sent off, kind of situation. But Cooper lasted the distance. I felt a bit harshly done by it, I said to the ref as we were walking in at half time. I've given one little tiny foul away, and you're telling me I'm on my last warning here, Cooper told the South London Press earlier this week. Obviously, they slow motion the challenge in the penalty area with Rodon. If they think that's a penalty, fair enough, but that's never been a penalty. The little bit of a scuffle in the corner, trying to get our fans going, having that kind of battle mentality we went into the game with. I tried to spark that off. It worked to an extent, but I still managed to get booked even though I barely did anything. Cooper appeared to roll back and put his full body weight on Notto. Asked if that was accidental, he said, I was just trying to bide my time and wind him up a little bit. Like we were the old team, just to see if they'd react. He did a little bit. It's one of those game playing things. We did it with Norwich at the Den, and we were just trying to spark something off. You know what Ellen Road is like. You need to have something go in your favour, or you're in big trouble. I don't think the ref was completely fair with us. Chopper said to me at half time, if you give me one more free kick away, then you're coming off, son. And I thought, I've got to stay away from any trouble here. I'm 29 now. I'm quite good at managing myself on a yellow card, and I've had 9 already, so I know what to do. Indeed he does. It hasn't been sent off yet. Hopefully that doesn't start tomorrow. Now, moving on to this. Also from the londonnewsonline.co.uk. Mill handed double striker boost as keeper Sarkic maintained strong form with international clean sheets. Mill manager Neil Harris has delivered positive news on rehabbing striker duo Kevin Nisbet and Tom Bradshaw. Both frontmen are working their way back from injuries. Summer signing Nisbet suffered what was described as a fairly significant hamstring injury at the start of February. Wales international Bradshaw suffered an Achilles tear at the start of this month, with initial fears that he would not return before the championship season was completed. But Harris told the South London Press yesterday there was optimism both would be able to contribute in the running. Bradders and Izzy are both back on the grass, said the Lions boss. Bradders, we're hoping to be back for the Cardiff game on April 13th, back involved in the matchday squad, and Kevin Nisbet the weekend after. We're looking to push for Sunderland game on April 20th. They might be involved in that, but both are desperate to be involved. Both want to get back, even if the involvement is off the bench until the end of the season. Their time frames, we've set the players to try and give them a target and a goal. We're not going to be held just to that if they're a few days late. Ultimately, we need to push the lads, and the lads want to push themselves to be back as quickly as possible to help the cause. Harris is also waiting for some of Mill's international players to return to Calmont Road. I stayed in touch with the lads. He said Matty's back in the group today on Wednesday. He played because he played and kept a clean sheet for Montenegro on Monday evening. Delighted for him. He's come back in really good spirits. He's played very well for me. But he also had a clean sheet representing his nation. He's a very proud man to have done that. Brook has played some minutes in 2 games for England under-21s in a very talented group at the moment. He comes back better for the experience. Sav struggled with Northern Ireland with a calf issue, and we'll have to look at what his involvement is over the Easter weekend period. Obafemi, he's been away with Ireland. He didn't add to his tally of caps, but just being around the squad is a fantastic achievement, and he'll come back hopefully in one piece on Thursday and be ready and raring to go. So there you go. Now moving on to this from Southwark News, talking to Joe Bryan. Joe Bryan says Millwall players ready to roll their sleeves up in relegation scrap, and he reflects on the clash with a Coventry player that triggered his 3-game ban. It's been a busy debut season in SE16 for the defender. Joe Bryan said he's ready to roll his sleeves up and do what is necessary to keep Mill safe. The Lions head into the final 8 games of the league's campaign, still unsure of their championship status, and among the clubs squabbling to avoid the relegation zone. Their strong recent run of form has left them in a good position to survive, but they still have work to do. Bryan, in his first season at the Den, is keen to dig in and end the campaign on a high. He told the News at Den, it's known as the business end of the season, and we have a job to do. When you have a couple of weeks without a game, it's easy to forget we're still in a semi-precarious position. We're in a good position in regards to teams around us, but we've still definitely got a job to do, and the points that we're going to pick up in the next few games are probably the most important points of the season. We're talking about 8 games left until the end of the season, and that's by no means 8 games left, counting down the games. It's more knowing we need to roll our sleeves up and get stuck in again and really pick up some points. Bryan has fought his way back into the side, having missed 3 games in a row due to a retrospective ban. The FA intervened to punish the 30-year-old after he clashed with Coventry City's Tatsuhiro Sakamoto in Mill's 2-1 loss at the CBS Arena last month. Bryan admits the incident looked bad, but insisted there was no intention to hurt the opposition player. He said, I made a comment on my Instagram just because I watched the video back. And the manager at the time, Joe Edwards, he said, look, I think you might be in trouble here. And I was sent it on Twitter, and it looked really bad, really, really bad. And I've never played the game like that. I've never gone to intentionally hurt someone. Mistakes happen in football, and I extended my apologies to the boy, and hopefully he accepted them. Football moved on. I served a suspension, and hopefully it won't happen again. Things like that happens now and again in football, and you just have to deal with them. As a player of 30 years old, with a bank of games behind you, I dealt with most things. I've dealt with promotions, relegations, I've won the league, I've won a cup, injuries, playoff games. I've played in League 2 with Plymouth and Premier League with Fulham, and I've played abroad and in European competitions. And the only thing that hasn't really happened to me is I hadn't been sent off or suspended. So, by the law of averages, it was bound to happen, wasn't it, at some point? And when those things happen in football, you just have to deal with them. As long as you do right by your own character and by the way you've been raised, you accept that mistakes can happen. The suspension caused Bryan to miss 3 games after injury had already disrupted his game time this season. The defender is grateful for the time in the international break so he could get his body into recovery mode. He said, the only days as a professional footballer you feel are good are normally the first 3 or 4 days of pre-season, especially when you're approaching your late 20s and you played a few hundred games and you're constantly playing with aches and pains. And I think that's easy to forget for people. Most games you're carrying some type of tightness or injury or ailment or illness, and nobody's moaning about it. It's a common thing. Bryan is now focused on trying to stay in the team and impress Neil Harris. The defender added, well, the gaffer now, he's come in with a very simple and clear message of what he wants and how he wants to approach games. And that's working so far, so long may that continue. It's a different style of football than I've played before, but I can adapt and I can fit that. So that was as long as the message is clear, concise, and done in a positive way, then I'm all in. So there he is. He's putting out the beacon saying, look, I can play Harris ball. Please don't swap me out with Danny McNamara. Even though he didn't have the best games against Leeds, I think. But is that because Leeds were pretty good, or is Joe Bryan not the best of defenders? Be interesting to see who does start, whether it's Bryan or McNamara, because West Brom are pretty good as well. Probably not as good as Leeds, but they can go forward. So do we need a more defensive player there at left back, and will Danny McNamara go back there? Obviously, he was dropped after his mistake against Blackburn, which probably cost us the win, but there you go. Now, as I mentioned previously about whether we would or would not sign a free agent, today, Thursday the 28th of March, is the deadline day. It's the transfer cut-off day. In terms of signing free agents, you got, or what would it be called? Registration cut-off day. You can't register new players after this because it's unfair. Because there's only like 10 games or less to go. And this, if you're old enough, you may remember this was the day. This used to be the transfer cut-off day back in the old days before they brought in the windows and before Bosman and all that stuff. It used to be the 3rd or 4th week in March, the end of March. Well, in some ways it still is, because in the non-league they carry that tradition on. And today we've got the announcement of 2 Millwall youth players going out on loan to the non-league, which they can still do. So we got this from millfc.co.uk. George Evans, that's him there, he's a goalkeeper, joins Broadbridge Heath on youth loan. Who are they exactly? I have never heard of this team. Apparently they're near Horsham. They're on the northwestern side of Horsham in Sussex. So Millwall under-21s goalkeeper George Evans has joined Isthmian League South East Division side Broadbridge Heath on loan until the end of the season. The stopper has joined on a youth loan, meaning that he can play for Kevin Nugent's side during his spell. Evans will hope to make his debut for Broadbridge, who currently sit 10th in the league table over the Easter period as they host Cray Valley Paper Mills on Saturday afternoon before travelling to Mersham on Easter Monday, kick off at 3 p.m. So there you go. And obviously that's going to be brought up in the loan watch on this website, millfc.co.uk. That's the first loan. The second loan, Nana Boateng. Now this is a bit more serious. Nana Boateng joined Solihull Moors on loan. Millwall under-21 star man Nana Boateng has joined Solihull Moors on loan till the end of the 23-24 campaign. Boateng is set for an exciting end to the season with the Moors inside the playoff positions in the Vanarama National League and also in the semi-finals of the FA Trophy, where they will play Bromley, who currently house fellow Lions loanee Kamal Grant, as well as former Millwall players Byron Webson and B-Sart Tobolodge. Nana is unable to play for Kevin Nugent's side whilst on loan. So this is a full loan, it's not a youth loan. We'll hope to make his Solihull debut over the Easter weekend as they host Barnet on Good Friday, before travelling to Carl Smith's Wildstone on Easter Monday, kick off at 3 p.m. Solihull and Burnley will then face each other on consecutive Saturdays as they jostle for league position and place at Wembley. So here we go. This is serious, because normally our players, they go to teams that are struggling at the bottom division. But this is a team that's at the top of the league. They're in the playoffs. They're in the semi-final of the FA Trophy, and it could be the situation that Nana Boateng comes in here, plays his part in getting this team into the Football League 2, which is pretty rare because they're not the biggest of teams, but it's a possibility, and also winning the FA Trophy, which would be outstanding. Now, Nana Boateng is 21 years old. The team is under 21, so this is, I think, to be fair, this might be the exit loan. They do these kind of things at the end of the season when they know that players are probably going to be let go, and they try to hook them up with a decent chance of getting a contract somewhere else. The thing happened with Dan Moss. See, Isaac Loffy, they didn't let him go, but they sorted out a deal where they sold him to Stockport. So Nana Boateng, I think the time has come that he needs to play first team football somewhere. So I don't think will he get a new contract at Millwall next season? I'm probably not, to be honest, because is he going to be in the first team squad? Unlikely. So what they could do is give him a contract, but then sort him out a season long loan. Hope that boosts him up. I think he's certainly good enough for League Two. 100%. We've seen with Isaac Loffy. He went into League Two. Obviously, different type of players, but I think Nana Boateng, he has the possibility to be a excellent player in League Two and maybe more. But he needs to go somewhere and play week in, week out in men's football. So obviously this is a good sign. Now, could it be that he goes to this place, plays very well, and then Mill might say, "Well, maybe we will give him a contract." I don't know, but we'll see. All the best to him. Whatever's happening behind the scenes, just keep playing and get your rewards for what you do on the pitch. Now we preview the game. That was all the news. Now we're on to the game. So Friday's match ball sponsors Prime Lifts and Construction Limited. So please introduce yourself and your company. My name is Danny Kinnear and I'm 35 years old. I've been a lift engineer for 20 years and I've run the company for 6. Followed in my dad's footsteps in becoming a lift engineer. Handy because they keep building all these high-rise blocks all around Southwark. So that's probably a growth industry at the moment, lift engineering and installation. We're a small family-run company based in Bexley, Kent, and I have 2 young Millwall mad sons, Jack and Harry. Nice one. The future fans of Millwall. How long have you followed Millwall? Do you have any special links to the club? I've been a Millwall supporter since birth and probably started attending from the age of 4 at the old den. With my mum and dad, I can hardly remember anything about it apart from the last game there. Oh, did you get on the pitch? Did you get some grass? Do you remember your first? Do you remember your first Millwall game experience? I'm not sure. Well, we was only like 3 or 4 years old, so. How could Millwall supporters benefit from your company services? If anyone is in need of quality lift service provider, then please get in touch. And that is at Prime Lifts. Is there a website? No. Prime Lifts and Construction Limited. Doesn't appear to be a website. Now moving on to this. Friday's match pack sponsor, Roll Group Limited. Millwall's digital match pack sponsor for Friday Sky Bet Championship visit West Bromwich Albion is Roll Group Limited. Who are they? I don't know. What do you think they do then? Obviously, we know a company called Prime Lifts. They deal with lifts. What do you think Roll do? No idea. Probably an employment firm? Let's find out. Roll Group consists of 4 divisions working in the construction, rail, utilities and highway sectors. Our divisions are traffic management, labour supply, training and... Hey, I was right, wasn't I? They are, in terms of, they're an employment company. Traffic management, labour supply, training and occupational health for the construction, rail, utilities and highway sectors. If your company could liken yourself to a Millwall player, who would it be? Tim Cahill. He was always focused and gave 100%. He was one of the best Millwall we've ever had. He would rise from nowhere to get his head on the ball. We see ourselves like him, starting from nothing and rising. We deliver 100% of our works to all of our clients. How long have you followed Millwall? We've been lifelong Millwall fans. My family have also been in and around Millwall from 1930. Okay, the first experience we can remember was back in 2002, the playoff semi-final against Birmingham City, when Stern John unfortunately scored in the last minute. How could Millwall supporters benefit from your company's services? Supporters can benefit from our many job opportunities across all construction, rail, utilities, highway sectors, including our extensive suite of rail and construction courses we offer in London. And their website is rolegroup.co.uk. Now moving on to the message board. Again, all of these are from millfc.co.uk. Good Friday's Millwall message board. Number 1 is in loving memory of Millwall supporter abroad. We lost Marco Friini, a passionate football man who followed the lines from afar and through thick and thin. Moreover, we lost the kindest husband and father. His family: Armenia, Stefano, Alberto, Georgia, Kay, Valerio, Antonio, and Luigi. So there you go there. Number 2, Gems Geezers visited the den a couple of weeks ago. What's this all about then? Doesn't say. Gems Geezers. Millwall, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Brentford, QPR, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Leyton Orient, West Ham. 51 miles, 10 stadiums. What does that mean? Is they like walking or running between the grounds and then watching a game? Don't know. But they've got hoodies made. Happy 14th birthday, Harry Hubbard. We hope you have a great day down the den. Love from your mum, dad, siblings, and family. There he is there. A happy 12th birthday to Alexander. Keep roaring the mighty lions on. Love from dad, mum, Maximus, and Anastasia. There he is there. Looks like he's inside the Imperial War Museum. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been there, but very decent place to visit. Happy birthday, Mick Avery, who will turn 80 on the 31st of March. Damn, 80. Doesn't look a day over 75. 6, Mill and Teramo fan, Fabrizio, is pictured with Gianluca Sardi, also known as the Mayfair Lion. They would like to wish Neil and his boys all the best for the final part of the season. Fabrizio is looking forward to joining Gianluca at the den soon to sing for Millwall from Block 4. Nice. Happy 2nd heavenly birthday to Huxley Hart. Keep watching over us. We miss you all the world. Love mummy, daddy, and all the family. And Saturday the 30th of March marks the 12th anniversary of Barry Kitchener's passing. And everyone at Millwall Football Club will always remember Barry and sends their thoughts and prayers to the family and friends at this time. Now, moving on to this. The mascots for the game. A whopping 9 mascots. 9 mascots. Nearly enough to field a whole football team. Introducing Millwall Football Club's matchday mascots for Good Friday's Sky Bet Championship match against West Bromwich Albion. Here we go. Up is Joseph Boyer, 10 years old. He goes to St Peter and St Paul's Catholic Primary Academy and enjoys kickboxing. He tries to go 3 times a week. He's also part of a netball team in his school, whilst Joseph likes to play golf as often as he can. Damn. He also likes going out with his friends when he's not in Millwall with his granddad. Joseph's favourite players are Zion Fleming and Tom Bradshaw. Next we have Lewis Begbie. He's 12 years old and he attends 100 of Who Academy. Louis lists his hobbies of football, darts, kickboxing. And his favourite player is Romain Esse. He predicts a 1-0 win for Millwall. And next up we have Aidan Begbie. Aidan's 6 years old and he also goes to 100 of Who Academy. His hobbies are football, kickboxing, and playing on the Nintendo Switch, whilst his favourite players are George Saville and Romain Esse. And he says the Mill will win by 2-1 tomorrow. That's what he's predicting. Next up we have Finley Nye. Finley Nye is aged 12 and he attends Maritime Academy. He enjoys playing football for Cliff Woods Colts and watching Millwall play, especially his favourite player, Danny McNamara. Finley predicts the Lions to beat West Bromwich Albion to 2-1. Next up we have Danny Ward. 5-year-old Danny Ward goes to Dartford Primary School. He enjoys football and playing with his friends, and his favourite lines are Zion Fleming and George Saville. Danny predicts a 2-1 win for Millwall on Good Friday. Bosh. Next up is Archie Fraser Sage. Archie, he goes to Hallstown Primary School in Bromley and lists his hobbies as football, Fortnite and FIFA. His favourite player is Jake Cooper, and he also predicts a 2-1 win for the Lions. A lot of 2-1s today. George Barnes is up next. George is 10. He enjoys playing football and cricket, and his favourite player is Zion Fleming, and he predicts a 3-1 win for Millwall on Good Friday. Next up, we have Albert Higgins. He attends Beam Primary School. He's a junior orange belt in Jiu-Jitsu. He loves playing football and is a keen goalkeeper. Albert is a Millwall season ticket holder and enjoys going to games with his family. His favourite players are Matija Sarkic and George Honeyman, and he predicts a 2-0 win for Millwall on Good Friday. So he, obviously, being a Sarkic fan, he rates Sarkic for the clean sheet there. Next up, we have Teddy Jegan. Teddy goes to Thomas Willingale School and lists his hobbies as swimming, karate and football. His favourite line is Michael Obafemi, and his predictions are also 2-1 to Millwall. Lovely stuff there. A lot of them predicting 2-1, and a lot of them they're learning how to kick some ass. Karate, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. These are not Millwall fans to mess with. The future of Millwall. Don't mess with them. Lovely stuff there. We hope you all have a fantastic day. Now, preview of the game. Let's get on it. Will it be a Good Friday? Well, according to the history books, it looks like it might be a Good Friday. This is the historical record head-to-head between Millwall and West Bromwich Albion, 11v11.com. First game in the FA Cup, January 1924. Was it over 100 years ago? 100 years and 3 months? We lost 1-0. But after that, it's been a sea of green. It's a game we win, and then we win some more. In 1938 we lost though. We lost 5-1. I think that's our worst defeat. And then we lost again after the war, 2-1. Now, that period in Millwall's history was not the best for Millwall. I kind of struggled, to be honest with you. So no surprise in that we lost. But after that, this is a game that we win. We win a lot. The next loss was in 1987, 25th of April. And that was a 1-0 defeat in League Division 2. And then after that, it was all the way, about 10 games after that, in 2020, 9th of February, so just before lockdown, because lockdown was in March, wasn't it? That was a 2-0 defeat, and that's the last time we lost to them. So all in all of these games that we've played at the Den, we've only lost 5 times to them. Now you would think, well, it's either going to follow the pattern or it's going to buck the trend, because there's probably too many wins that we're probably due a loss. But I think it's the other way. I think this is a situation, or it's a game that we win because of reasons. Maybe it's the distance that the players travel. Maybe it's the circumstance. I don't know. But it's a game that we win. Maybe it's the fortune of the club. Obviously, they're in the Midlands. They're not the biggest of Midlands teams. They're a modest team. They're struggling at the moment. I think they've just come out of bad ownership and hopefully in better ownership. But you see what's happening at Birmingham down the road. But I think they are kind of overshadowed in the Midlands with the bigger teams around them. You've got your Aston Villas, you've got your Leicesters, you've got your Derbys, even Birmingham to some extent. And they're probably on the same kind of level as Millwall, in that we're a London team and then we're overshadowed by all the teams around us as well. So this is probably 2 teams at the same level in terms of recruitment and how they fit in the league structure. And it's a game that we win quite often because of that. So yeah, quite a few clean sheets as well. Many draws, a few draws as well. I mean, there are a few draws. 2-2 draw. It's come up 3 times. Okay. Now, moving on to this is from whoscored.com. It's the head-to-head, but more recently. And interestingly, look at this. What are we seeing here? In the last 6 games at the Den, we've won 4, drawn 1, lost 1. There have been 4 yellow cards for West Bromwich Albion. 2 in one game in 2004. In 12th of April 2004, which would have been obviously a few days after the massive game. Big go down in our history, the 4th of the 4th of the 4th. Yeah, two red cards in one game. So that's kind of peculiar, don't you think? Interestingly, in terms of they've got as many red cards as they have goals against us in the last 6 games. 4 goals scored, 4 red cards. We've scored double the amount of goals. We've got 8 goals in those games. We've kept a clean sheet on 3 occasions. They've only kept a clean sheet on 1. And that was the last time they won. So it would suggest if we can score, we got a bloody good chance of winning this game. So let's scroll down. Here's the table as it stands. They are actually not that bad. They're in 5th in the table. They've won 19 games, drawn 9, lost 10. They've scored 59 goals and conceded 36, which is as many goals as we've scored. They're on 66 points. We are 16th in the table now. Obviously, but only that's not because of the manager that we've got now, because of the manager that we had before. So what are we looking at? Well, let's look at home form. We are 21st, but we've won our last 2 home games because of certain Neil Harris, etc., etc. You know what's going on. But in terms of away, our West Brom are a good away team. As you can see here, they're the 3rd best team at home, so that would suggest they're 5th in the overall table. That's probably not going to be the case. And indeed, they are 10th, so they're an average. They're a middle of the road away team in this league. They've won 6, drawn 6, lost 7, scored 28 times, conceded 22. So there you go. Now, that is just 3 points away from us. So if you're a Millwall fan who goes away and watches us play, if you've been every game, or you've just seen our results and you remember them well, they're about the same as us. So there you go. If we look at the form table right now, see they haven't lost in the last 6 games. Oh dear. They've only conceded 5 goals, which is as many as we've scored. Oh dear. Yes. This is not going to be easy, is it? If we look down here, the last 6 games, if you look on the left-hand side, last 6 home games for Millwall, obviously the last 2 were under Neil Harris. 2 1-0 wins. 1-0, 1-0. Shall we say a certain attritional style? But, will West Brom be more attacking? Will that open them up to more counter-attacking? Can we do that with the players that we have? We've got Obafemi. We don't have Amaku and his pace. Is it? I don't know. Who else can we do? But yeah, the last 2 wins, last 2 clean sheets. And again, I think in terms of our home wins, I think all of our home wins have been with clean sheets. I believe that is the case. If we go over and look at West Bromwich Albion's last away games, doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Well, it looks good for them. It doesn't look good for us in terms of our prospects on winning tomorrow's game. In the last game, they beat Huddersfield 4-1. Before that, they went to Loftus Road and got a 2-2 draw. 1-1 away at Hull. So they're scoring. The only time they haven't scored was against Norwich. That was in January. They lost that game 2-0. So the only time they failed to score, they lost. So is that a requirement then? Do we have to keep a clean sheet in order to win tomorrow's game? Can we do that? The only time they kept a clean sheet was against Plymouth. Interestingly, if you look, obviously they've played away at 3 of the teams that we are in the relegation zone with us: Huddersfield, QPR and Plymouth. They've scored 3 goals, 2 goals and 4 goals. So if we can get a result against them, if we can not concede a lot of goals, that would suggest as well that we're not as bad as those teams that they've just played, as in Plymouth, QPR, and Huddersfield. If we can get a better result than they did, then that suggests that in the law of my dad can beat up your dad, that if we don't lose to West Brom as badly as they lost, or if we can get a draw or even a win, then we're good enough to do that when these teams weren't, which suggests that these teams will be the ones getting relegated and we will not. Here are the strengths and weaknesses and the styles. Now let's get onto the prediction. Here we go. So, match facts. There have been under 2.5 goals scored in Mill's last 4 games. That's in the Championship. Mill has seen under 2.5 goals in 5 of the last 6 matches against West Brom in all competitions. West Brom have scored at least 2 goals in the last 4 matches. So there you go. Prediction. Millwall were no match for fierce rivals and league leaders Leeds last time out, as the Lions were well beaten on their visit to Elland Road. That defeat marked the first of Neil Harris's second tenure at the club, but a haul of 10 points from their previous 4 league outings has moved the Friday's hosts 4 points clear of the relegation zone. West Brom's playoff credentials are looking stronger and stronger with every passing week, and Carlos Corberan's side maintained their unbeaten streak in game week 38 with a comfortable 2-0 win against Bristol City. The Baggies are now unbeaten in 6 league games and 8 points clear of a 7th place hole. So obviously if they're trying to get in the playoffs, they've got an 8-point advantage over the team in 7th. So again, they can afford to not go full pedal to the metal. They can afford to slip up. They don't need to win. Is that going to be a factor? I don't know. How many international players do they have? Do they have a lot of international players away at the moment? Could that be a factor as well? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But they predict. Did I do the prediction? They predict Millwall 1, West Bromwich Albion 1. So there you go. Now moving on to this from skysports.com. It is David Prutton's predictions. What is he going to predict? I can't wait. Let's have a look actually. Let's look. So obviously I did this the last couple of weeks. Obviously we're in a relegation battle. So what does he think the other results in the relegation zone are going to be? Let's read them before we get to the Millwall game. Blackburn Ipswich. Obviously we want Ipswich to win that, don't we? Yes, we do. So he predicts 2-0 to Ipswich. That would be lovely jubbly. That kicks off at 5:30. That's going to be on the television. Next up is Watford Leeds. That's not really a factor anymore. I think Watford are above us in the table, aren't they? Huddersfield Coventry. Well, we do hope Coventry win that. And he predicts 2-0 to Coventry. QPR Birmingham. A draw would be good in this. For us, not for Gary Rowett and his Birmingham team. QPR, do you want to keep QPR in the league so you have a London derby next season? Maybe you want QPR to win this one and Birmingham to go down. Maybe you don't like Gary Rowett for whatever reason, I don't know. But there you go, they predicts 2-2. Next up we have Sheffield Wednesday Swansea. Sheffield Wednesday banging it, he predicts them are going to be 1-1. Here's the table. If you don't know, if you're not familiar, so we've got Birmingham not doing too well at the moment, and Huddersfield and QPR. So there you go. Remaining games. So here we go. David Prutton of Sky Sports predicts Millwall 1, West Brom 1, and it's a 1 PM kickoff, by the way. It's going to be very windy tomorrow. There might be a little bit of rain. But I think because it's so windy, it's just going to blow through. Obviously, this is an early kickoff, which I think generally helps out the home team. I don't know West Brom are staying. Are they staying in Greenwich, or are they staying in the Docklands or Canary Wharf? I don't know where they're staying. As you saw, this is a game that we can win. whatever reason, West Brom don't do too well when they come to the Den. The fact that it's early kickoff. Again, though, where are the goals going to come from? Is it an early kickoff? Will the wind be a factor? Is that going to mess up our chances of set piece goals? Could it help? Could Mercedes Arkic score? Which way is the wind going to blow? I don't know. But again, do we need to keep a clean sheet to win the game? Can we outscore them? So if we concede one, we're going to need to score two, which is probably why both of these places went for 1-1, because they think we can't keep a clean sheet, but we could probably score, but we can't score two, so it'll be a 1-1. That's probably why they've gone for that. Will it be another 1-0 win? Again, what do you go for? Do you try to keep the clean sheet, or do you try to get the goal? If we try too hard to keep the clean sheet, we'll come up unstuck, which is what happened at Leeds. But this is a better team. Like Leeds are a better team than what we played so far under Harris and like you say Southampton, but Southampton have a very weird team, play a very weird way, idiosyncratic way that they play. It's easy to combat that with the way that Millwall play. Again, it will be interesting as well. Saville injured, pulled out the Northern Ireland squad. Don't forget, he's assisted 2 goals in the last, I think, 3 games. With his corner and whatnot for Tanganga and whatnot. So, if we're going to get goals from set pieces, who's taking the set pieces? If it's not going to be George Saville, is that going to be detrimental? If Saville doesn't play, does Dinor come in? Everyone's been banging the drum to bring Dinor in, but they've been doing that for him to replace Billy Mitchell, not Saville. So what lineup will we got, and who do we play? Is this going to be? You've got to look at it. We're playing Friday and Monday. Monday's the more winnable game. That's probably why they've gone for the draw. Will Millwall try and play for the draw? I don't think they will. Not at home. I think it's going to be a packed stadium. I think it might be a sellout. There are like 300 tickets left. They were saying. I think 2 of the stadium sides have sold out. West Stadium sold out. Kitchener Stadium sold out. Again, I don't know. This is one of these. I don't know which way. I don't know which way I should predict. I could see us winning this game, like I could see us winning against Leeds. It didn't happen in the end. Again, does Danny Mack come in at left back because he can defend better than Bryan, in my opinion, and a lot of opinions of Millwall players. So you made that mistake against Blackburn, but obviously you leave him out for a couple of games, bring him back in. I don't know. So I think it's very much going to be dependent on the team that gets selected and the way that we're supposed to be playing. But I'm gonna go with the score that all the kids are going. I'm gonna go 2-1 to Millwall. Yeah, I think it's gonna be 2-1. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.